Hi guys, welcome to one more interesting tech talk show. This time I have Mr. Harshavardhan on the hot seat and he has completed his BTech and he is going to US for his masters. So let's invite Mr. Harshavardhan. Harshavardhan, how are you?
Fine, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, say something more about you, like your BTech journey.
Yes, sir. So I've completed my BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering, and I'm from Andhra University.
Okay,
And I'm actually from Vizag.
okay. And when you are leaving to US?
I'm leaving this Jan, sir.
In
Around
Jan.
Jan 11th. Yeah.
Okay. And masters, like what's your specialization in
Yeah.
master?
Masters is in Electrical and Electronics Engineering, specialization in embedded systems, sir.
Okay. EC and embedded systems will be the specialization.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Harsha, like I'm very curious to know about, after
Sure.
completion of your BTech, you have joined again in C programming language.
Yes, sir.
See, right from the beginning, I always tell to my students that it is mother of all the programming languages. And once
Yes,
you are
sir.
good at C language, you can do anything.
Yes, sir.
But if you can tell me, like what made you to join for this course after BTech, so that people who are joining BTech right now, I think they will be serious regarding this.
Yes. C is very essential, sir. In no matter which field you take.
Okay.
I mean, taking computers, it is the base, whole and soul thing for computer science students. Even for electrical electronics students, it is very important. The reason I've chosen, I mean, joined C again is because my fundamentals weren't as good. I mean, I feel they aren't as good as an master's program capable. That is the reason that I've
Okay.
joined again. I mean, for all the students who are listening, I'd recommend to join C and learn it as soon as possible
Right.
because it is important.
Means even in masters, this will be helpful to you, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great. Great to hear this point. Why?
Okay,
Because see, Harsha, you won't believe people.
sir.
Means so many student thinks that it's for computer science students.
Yeah.
That is one myth actually.
Yes, sir.
But
It is a
irrespective
myth.
of any branch you take it, you have to touch software here and there definitely.
And in software, you have to definitely touch C programming
C
because even when I mean, like I've told you, like I've come from electronics and communication engineering background.
Okay.
So there was the C subject in my first year. After learning that subject, I thought this subject is so redundant. There are so many other good. I mean, like Python and all these which deal with artificial intelligence and all that. I thought who would be using C? I mean, you know how our education system is like.
Right. That's the main problem.
Always keep teaching 20 years back subjects. So even I've thought C is in the same criteria, but turns out C is still in the forefront. Now coming to programming, I've seen that there are requirements in every field, and according to the requirement, you use the language. Like I've told you, Python is good for artificial intelligence and all the other, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
subjects. But coming to basic barebone, I mean, like softwares or products or services, C is must and essential. And people who have thought that C wasn't enough, they have found out C++ and
Right.
additional,
Which is more
layer on
advanced
top of
than C.
just an addition to make it a complete package.
Great to hear. Guys who are listening to this video and who are really serious to learn C programming language, I'll give you a link below this video. You can just click and you can join in my WhatsApp group. There I'll announce the next batch details. Harsha, some people thinks that they'll do C++ first and then they'll learn C language.
No,
What,
sir. I
what is your
mean,
statement on that?
sure, you could do that, but I'll tell you my experience. I haven't done C++, but I've learned Python.
Okay.
See, like I've told you, I've learned C in my college, which is like I know printf, scanf, these
Your
basic
academic
statements.
curriculum, how to get
Yeah,
90 out of 100 is the target.
yeah. And I did get keeping things aside. Yeah, I've learned basic. Then I've come to Python.
Okay.
There's this I mean, like line in Python where you can ask scan and give off the print statement you want, and you can take the all in one line.
In one line, yeah.
So yeah, 2 days before while learning the class, I was blindly typing off the line and it's throwing me error. And so I was thinking like, why is it throwing me an error? I could give my, I mean like enter an input in the same scanf and I can ask it. So then I
Okay.
was thinking, C, needs step by step. You have to mention each printf and then you have to ask scanf. So, if you go to an advanced course like Python and all, coming back to C would be a little problematic.
Problem.
But if you want to, I mean, like if you learn C and go forward, it will be like, oh, so this is better. But
Best.
you're accustomed to the C, so it will be easy to juggle between the both two languages.
Like I always say to my students, learn the hardest language first. Easiest will be more easy in future.
Yeah, sure.
And
Yes, sir.
if you want your code to run fast, learn C++. If you want
That
to
is
code
true.
fast, then you learn Python.
Python. Yes, sir.
So like like you said, fine, you want to make your basics strong, and because of that reason, you are learning C language. Like in your EC career, where you are going to use this C language exactly? Can you share that?
While BTech, you don't see very often, but
Okay.
coming to taking a special part of it, like say suppose embedded systems,
Right.
C is very much important. There is a complete subject called embedded C, which is
Okay.
based on C,
Okay.
which is used in I mean like to design electronic devices.
Okay.
Like I mean, there is a hardware layer on which you perform the operations like run applications. In
Okay.
between these two assembly languages and all, C is the fastest and more strong language than any other out there. So this is the subject embedded C. I mean, the whole community of embedded system scientists have chosen because of its versatility, speed, and also the reason why they choose C is because of its fixed nature. There are Java 6, there are Java 7,
Sure.
and there will be a Java 8.
So many versions actually.
And also they'll be deprecating all the previous one because they can't provide support, because all those things are like partially dependent upon the system you use. I mean like the hardware you use and the requirements, they keep changing each version. But C is like locked in forever. The commands won't change. And it's
really, this is the beautiful point what you have shared. Because in 1972, what the version they have designed, I think after 50 years also we have the same version.
Same version. Yes,
Other
sir.
than C, C++, anything you take it, we'll see so many versions actually.
Yes, sir. And based on this only C++ is also formed. To compensate all the losses they've pointed out in the C while comparing to languages like Java and all, they've introduced things like what they call object-oriented programming, which is more than sufficient, for an. And the best thing is you get the coding power of a language like Java and all, and the speed of C also in C++.
Yeah.
Both of them are excellent.
And C language with OOPS features will give you C++.
C++. Yes.
Good. Like Harsha, can you tell me what exactly embedded systems is, and if anyone wants to go into this industry, like how they need to prepare themselves?
Sure, sir. Embedded system is like an amalgamation of software and hardware things, sir. Okay. I mean like close your eyes and point to any, I mean like just point your finger, it will be an electronic device. I mean coming to 21st century.
Yeah.
I mean there are fields like general computing, personal computing, and then specific application types. There are subfields in embedded system, but literally each and everything is an embedded system. I mean like keeping aside analog watches, even digital watches just show time is also an embedded device. Right. So the depth you choose would be defining how well you'll be using the programming in it. You could take a specific application thing like routers, printers, all these have a specific purpose.
Yeah.
These are and then you can choose devices like mobiles, laptops, computers. These are general computing. All these are embedded systems, And also coming to the other question, the way you have to prepare, you have to get get to know microprocessors and microcontrollers. So that's one subject for embedded system. Electronic students, and also you'll definitely have to learn programming because how do I tell it? You get the parts,
Okay.
keep them together. That generally becomes an analog device. It always runs on voltage and all that.
Voltage,
But coming to a digital device, you get the parts. It doesn't do anything. You'll have to program it, and programming C
We'll
is the
have
best
decision making power actually.
yeah, decision power. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And so I've heard people saying that go into ECE, you have both the option of hardware and software, but with that advantage, you also get a responsibility of learning both hardware and software. People always forget that. They think, okay, I learn hardware, and they go and they think they'll get either of the jobs, or they'll think they'll learn software and they'll get both of the jobs. Now, if you want to come to electronics or embedded systems for that matter, you'll have to learn both of them. And my advice is, start tinkering from your first year itself with electronics basic components, and learn C. C is important because development boards like Arduino also use C.
Like people should have again passion also towards electronics.
That is the most that is most important. No, don't come into this field without passion. That would be suggestion. Yes,
because
any
field, there is a passion, there should be patience also.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because in the beginning, if you write line, even for that even a semicolon would make you mad sometimes if you forget. And if you have patience, you'll be like, what is the problem? And if you don't have that patience, you're like, what the hell is this?
People will get frustrated actually.
Yeah, even for a semicolon. You write 200 lines of code and you forget a semicolon, it's a human error. And for a thing like that, if you don't have patience to check the error and verify it and do it 3-4 times, it's not, until you have a lot of practice, it is bound to, you're bound to make mistakes.
And you get patience only when you have passion actually.
Passion. And yes, it's all interlinked. Yes.
Yeah. And Harsha, like you have worked with embedded systems, isn't it?
Yes,
have you worked?
Yes.
Basic level.
Yeah, basic level. Yes, basic to intermediate.
So what our community wants to know is, like to write C programs, we are using some IDs like CodeBlock, C Free, different IDs. Yes. Even we have online compilers.
Yes.
Like for embedded C also, do you have any ID to write that?
Yes, sir. We have IDE. Mostly what people use is Arduino IDE. It is a IDE provided by the Arduino community itself.
Okay.
In the first, like the version 1.0, it was basic. Okay. It has a serial monitor. To take the output from the board itself, development board, as well as the programming area and header files, etc., etc. And over time, what they did, they integrated the internet part to it. So right now you could download libraries from all around the world. I've told you, like Arduino is an open source development board right now. So loads and loads of people have developed a lot of hardware.
So people going to contribute it a lot.
Yeah, lot of people have done lot of both on the hardware level and software level. There was this guy who made an chip, Wi-Fi chip for the Arduino. Okay. He's written basic code as to how to function and all that. There were 4 other people on the GitHub. They've designed numerous applications with examples, and they've taken up a notch. All these are integrated to the main library. The developer itself who have designed that Wi-Fi chip was so impressed. He integrated into his project, and he has given credits to all those 4 people, and he has released an publication. Package, and all these packages were available online. There are other companies like Texas Instrument. It is called MSP 430.
Okay.
For that, you'd be using Code Composer Studio. This is a proprietary software provider. It's like free, but limited free access to the software. And choosing various chips and microcontrollers, there'll be other IDEs. But the thing is, because these are all designed in C, you could even
Okay.
use like an IDE like code blocks. Even
Code
code blocks
blocks.
actually has a feature for Arduino in the
Okay, okay.
options,
Right, right, right.
the support.
Like see, in C programming, like the very first basic program we teach Hello World actually.
Yes, sir.
Not in C, like any programming language you take it, Hello World is
Generally, yeah,
always there.
programming is hello world to
Hello
print
World.
hello world. Yes, sir.
Like for embedded system programming, if someone wants to do this Hello World kind of program, like
Yes,
what
sir.
are the requirements actually? Very basic
I mean,
requirement.
yeah. So how hello world is for software, blinking light is for hardware.
Arduino. Okay, okay.
Not an Arduino, like any other this thing.
Any
To
embedded
blink,
system programming.
to blink an LED. The main reason we choose blink an LED is, you can take a battery and put it, the light glows on and off.
Right.
That isn't a big thing. To program it to turn on and off, as per your requirement, it shows that the development board is working.
Right. That is the basic level programming we can do it.
Basic level.
Switching
And
on, off and off.
all the boards, I mean, mid-range, actual beginner type boards, all have these LEDs inbuilt. Generally, Arduino Uno has an pin 13, which already has a LED. So you could plug it and type the blink LED program. I mean, these examples are also available in the sketches. But like a hello world, how they give you opening the IDE, they give you this blinking LED thing. Once you press it, the light starts to blink. No, it's an excitement. When the first time I've done it,
Right.
I've to control things on your own. It's nice.
Harsha, like one more thing, like if anyone wants to start with this, if they want to experience this, the first thing is they need to invest on buying this board, isn't it?
Board, yes.
Without that, they can't experience this, obviously.
I mean, like, sure, 5 years ago this would be my answer, but you could search the internet for a while, and there are simulations for these. There are softwares.
Emulator, what we can say, that will show you emulator. The virtual, right?
Virtual. So you need to have a little patience again, and you need to know a little bit of what you're doing, and you can find the emulators for these things. Okay. There is an emulator for Arduino Uno.
Okay. So without investing on that hardware device initially, they can
you could experience it. Making it. Not all people are interested to buy things right at the beginning.
Right.
So
that's why I'm asking actually.
You could show it like a sample. I mean, you can't do all the things you do with an Arduino, but blinking lights, making sounds.
Basic level stuff we can do it.
We can do, so that once you are happy enough that you could deal with this development.
Once you get confident level that
confident enough,
you can do this.
You could, you
then they can buy. Like how much this board will cost at minimum level, if you can say.
There are, since I've told you it's an open source project, there are the parent company who's making it Arduino, as well as so many other companies making it. Actual cost would be like 1,000 and so, but you could get it, 300. You could get
300, you can get it.
300. But all of these are genuine. There is no,
okay.
what do you call it? China piece kind of thing.
Yeah.
And such thing. All of them are genuine. They all based on a processor called Atmega 328.
Okay. We can get it this online, na? Like from Amazon. Can we get these boards?
Yes, sir. You can type Arduino Uno. Okay. And not only that, if you could invest the same 1,000 rupees, they'll give you a whole set of things. They'll give you resistors, LEDs.
Okay. 1,000 rupees, you'll get complete bundle.
Yeah, bundle. There are so many bundles in Arduino. like in Amazon.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Great. What is this Raspberry Pi like?
Raspberry Pi is a single board computer, sir. Like how our phones work. It's an very low end of a phone. You could say single board computer.
Okay.
Yes.
For that Raspberry Pi, we can connect our monitor and keyboard, and we can design a mini like one small computer kind of thing.
It itself is a computer, sir.
Without input and output device attached, isn't it?
No, like you could even attach touchscreens to it also.
Okay.
The Raspberry Pi which is there right now could compete with 10 years old Pentium 4 computer, I guess.
Oh my God. Okay, great.
Because as far as I used to have a computer back in 2000s. My father used to have, so
okay.
I remember it being 64 MB or I don't know 512 MB RAM and all those
Yeah,
specifications.
yeah.
This starting board of Raspberry Pi itself has 1 GB, and the latest version has 2 GB RAM. It is almost equivalent to a phone, and it runs Linux operating system.
Okay. This
So
Raspberry
it is
Pi
a
runs on
powerful little
Linux,
thing.
na?
Linux.
Okay.
There is a special distro called Raspbian OS to
Yeah.
run the Linux.
Yeah, like what is the difference between this Arduino board and Raspberry Pi board? Like how far
Yes,
it is
sir.
different?
I mean, like, yeah, most people will be thinking like, should I buy that or should I buy this
Yeah.
or what is the difference and all that.
Hmm.
Thing is, uh, Arduino Uno board is a microcontroller, sir, whereas coming to this thing is microprocessor.
Okay.
I mean, like, Raspberry Pi is more like a calculator,
Okay.
where this thing is like, how do I tell you? I mean, electronic appliance which could control devices. I mean,
Okay.
say suppose you have a printer, it
Yeah.
has all those motors moving and all.
Right.
The
Right.
thing, the brains of the printer is this Arduino, a
Okay.
microcontroller.
Okay.
Whereas Raspberry Pi is the one which give you instructions to run this microcontroller.
Okay.
So that is the difference between them. I mean, like this itself is a computer.
Okay. Like, and means a few projects requires Arduino board and Raspberry Pi both boards.
Yes,
And we
sir.
can design projects in that.
Yes, sir.
Great. And like, have you heard about this embedded C?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't gone depth into it, but yes, sir, I've heard about it.
Okay. And even this iOS is built by using Objective-C.
Yes, sir. The other version,
Yeah.
for operating systems. Yes, sir.
Means
Objective-C.
the world's powerful mobile, like iPhone, their roots are grounded at C language again.
Yes, sir.
That's what the power of languages are.
Yes, sir.
And
And
tell me,
yeah, continue, sir. Not a problem.
like what I want to know is, if anyone wants to build their career in this electronic side, they should take this BTech EC branch only, or without that also, is there any way they can learn these things?
I mean, again, coming to your question, you could ask which specialization they want to go in. If it is embedded systems, it is better to take electronics. But if you'd like to deal with robotics or any other field which has an much bigger part of other field than that of electronics, say suppose you're going for system analysis, and most of the part you don't design the hardware, it is more software related, where you work on an intermediate level of software application between the user and the hardware. So it is better to go to computer science and then take embedded system with specialization. I mean, like, there are even, like I've told you, fields, specific devices, general purpose devices and all that. You could choose computer science or electronics and communication engineering, or EEE for that matter. Some colleges in India, they don't give you ECE. Only I've seen it only in Andhra Pradesh.
Okay.
In colleges like IITs, there won't be an ECE. There'll be an either ET, Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, or EEE.
EEE. Like here in Andhra, we have ECE separately.
ECE and EEE separate.
EEE
but in IIT, I've gone to an IIT Madras for an workshop. Okay. So there they've told me like there'll be no other different. We teach everything in EEE only. So I haven't known it. I've also learned it late. So people would be like, I want only ECE, but you don't find it in IITs or NIT, and you'll be like, how could they not be? Because they're giving it. I mean, it's a point, for people who'd like to join colleges like that. Please don't lose your opportunity for a small thing like that.
Great. Like really, Harsha, it's a great, means we got really lot of inputs from you. And there are thousands of students in my community who are really waiting for this kind of talks actually. Harsha, when you are leaving to US for masters?
Jan 11th, sir.
On Jan 11th you are leaving, na?
Yes, sir.
Suppose like once you go there and once you get settled there, and if I want you to guide my community members who are interested in this embedded systems programming, Means if they want to do this blinking lights, one small example, and I can ask them to buy these boards and they'll buy it. And like how much time it will take for them, like how many hours of training they require. Like I want you to guide them so that they can build their first application.
Sure, sir.
Like how
It's
much
not a
time
big
they
deal.
need to spend actually.
I mean, like, to design the blinking board, it takes a time as much as you buy the board, sir. Once
Okay.
you buy the board, you'll have to download one software, Arduino IDE, which I've told you.
Yeah.
I mean, there is an setup process. It is better you directly do it from the website itself.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
because it has to install some hardwares and all, because it is an
Mm.
proprietary micro. I mean, it is open source, but it is of a different company outside of the general computing. So it'll have to install hardware and devices, like what you do when, I mean, you get the message, right, and you attach a pen drive, installing
Okay.
hardwares, please wait a moment.
Right.
So
Right.
these softwares are usually installed in Windows, because these are universally used, but not all people had to use Arduino, right? So once you download the software, he'll give you the hardware and the device requirements and all that. If you run the application itself, then you'll have no other problem. If you download it from third party and all that, there might be a little problem. You'll have to go into device manager and all that. So my advice is to download it from the original Arduino website, and buy the board, Arduino Uno board. It will cost around 350 rupees with a cable. It will come
That's
with a
it.
cable.
That's it.
That's it, sir.
Harsha, you do one thing. You just give me the exact links of those
Link.
boards. I'll
Done,
share,
sir.
guys. I'll be share. Like if someone is listening to this video up to this point, that's nothing but you are really committed towards the subject. So guys, what I'll do is I'll share a link of those boards, Raspberry Pi board, Arduino board, and what are all the things which are required for embedded systems programming. Then you need not to waste your time in searching that, and you are getting that recommendation from an expert. Directly you can click it and you can just buy that. Harsha, can you do that for us?
Yeah, I'll send you the link, sir.
Thank you so much. Harsha, like, would you like to share anything to our community members? Like, I got answers for all the questions, and
Sure.
I'm really so happy for that.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to share anything to our community members?
I mean, like, since I'm from electronics background, I'll be, suggesting some tips to those people who are, want to follow the same path.
Sure.
Learn a lot of languages. Whichever language is no problem, but my suggestion is to go step by step. Learn C, then Java, and then Python, because C will give you the basic for everything, and then Java is like an intermediate, coming. I mean, like C, C++, you learn one after other, and then you could learn Java for for people who'd like to go towards the software. All the desktop applications and all those are web applications too, are done on Java front end and all other things. So that is important. And also, if you are going towards electronics, I'd like you to concentrate on microcontroller and microprocessors and data structures. These two, and computer architecture organization. These three subjects are generally included in
one point, like data structures, like how far it will be useful for you? Like for
data structures is also important, sir. In the embedded system, not that you're mentioning it, but it is especially useful, because even small embedded systems also do have data stored in. So say suppose I remember this Casio thing, which you can save contacts and all that.
Like in olden days, before the mobile industry came, Casio.
Yeah,
store all the contacts.
Yeah, electronic contacts.
Right,
say suppose you're storing 200 contacts in it, and you want to find a contact, you can go through all the 200, right? So he'll be telling that press this and this, and you'll get a search bar, and depending on what you're typing, whether the number or an alphabet, it'll change its algorithm. I mean, like data searching.
The logic which is written inside that.
Yeah, all that credit goes to data
structures. It's a very beautiful subject, and it's really required, because data structures will tell you how things runs internally actually.
Yes,
like
sir.
How data is managed, how data is processed. Like there are beautiful modules like linked list, stacks, trees, graphs. But people think that this is very hard, and See, students are simply neglecting that actually.
Yes, sir. That is the specific reason I'm letting them know. Computer architecture organizes microprocessor, microcontroller, and then data structures, and see. No matter what they teach you in college, please learn them very good. Don't by heart.
Yeah.
If you're by
Try to
hearting, then
understand the concept.
yeah, if you're by hearting, then you're not interested in the subject. You'll have to learn it, and trust me, try to use. I mean, at least do an application on your own, like Arduino, or run a motor, blink a light. It doesn't matter, because once things start working, you'll be like pulled towards like a magnet towards it.
Yeah, yeah.
It will
No,
be
it's
very
very
nice.
interesting subject actually, that is.
Yes, sir.
Even see in data structures there is a subject like graphs actually. See,
Yes, sir.
how I tell my students is, suppose you are booking a vehicle in Ola actually or in Uber. So from point A to point B, that's
Point B.
your source and
Shortest.
destination are typing.
Yeah, shortest path
And
algorithm.
there is one algorithm like shortest path algorithm. So
Yes, sir.
it will suggest you that this is the route, and based on that your tariff and everything is calculated, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
People should know the implementation. I think then they'll get the energy to learn the subject.
Yes, sir. See, the application you've told is towards software based, and today
Right,
in
right.
present day, say suppose you are using a Tesla car.
Right.
Even this time it isn't the Ola or Uber that
It's
does
running
the
under
shortest
app
path.
actually. It's
Yeah,
running under app.
yeah. The Tesla car itself will make a decision. I mean, like, even I have been told this example. Say suppose there are 3 routes to your destination. One is a very long one is a very small one, and the other one, I mean, like, you have 3 routes.
Okay.
There are differences as to what you ask. You want the shortest or you want the fastest?
Okay.
Because on the shortest path you have traffic, a lot of traffic, but on the longest path you could reach, like, even though it is long, you could reach. So based on
Okay.
these requirements, the algorithm works. So this was the example, which hooked me to data structures. No,
Great, great.
I've always thought, like, so what's there in choosing a path, but a computer taking the decision as what your requirement is. Like, you want the shortest or you want the fastest. You tell me that and give you.
Right.
So that is what
I think artificial intelligence also like will come into picture, like
all of those.
based upon your requirement. Means if you are choosing one path daily, then I think your car will decide that this guy wants this path, and it will, I think, guide you. This is where your
Say suppose you are making a stop every day at a coffee shop, and one day
Okay.
you unmindedly keep it on autopilot. It will automatically choose, because it recognizes that the car has been halted for 30 minutes at an particular place.
location.
So if he's doing it every day, hopefully he would have needed it. Even say suppose the car stops, and it will be, why did it stop? And when you look around, it will be the coffee shop. A
Great.
car learning to do that itself is magic.
Yeah. And this, I heard that this Tesla Motors and like, I think they are also looking for C++ engineers, like how far it is.
Yeah, yes, sir. I mean, this news even came to a shock to me, but
Okay.
then after I went to the article, it makes clear sense that choosing C++, because like I've told you, Python and all easy to code
Easy
and
to
all that.
write the code.
But they're slow as in not as in hours and minutes,
Okay. Yeah.
seconds.
Fraction
But,
of seconds. But
Yeah, a decision, while driving a car, life and death also matters in those seconds and
few
milliseconds.
seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're designing applications in Python and all that, and they're using C++ developers to convert it to basic C language for hardware, and then
Great.
they're developing applications, to get the last juice out of the car.
Means even that fraction of
seconds.
decision makes a difference.
Yeah, they're not willing to leave it. They're not willing to forgo it.
Yeah.
They want the best in class. So they're,
I mean, that is the reason they are choosing C++.
C++ engineers.
Great.
Elon Musk himself has tweeted requirement for whole loads of C++ engineers.
Great. Harshvardhan, thank you so much for this interview and like Tech Talk show.
Thank you, sir.
I think our community members has got a lot of insights, lot of inputs from you. And definitely one day I'll be inviting you And you
Sure,
need
sir.
to teach these embedded systems, at least blinking lights
Sure.
program to our members.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Sure.
So
Sure, sir.
thank you so much. Wish you all the best and be
Thank you,
in
sir.
touch with our community members.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Bye, sir.